Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Alex.
It was his birthday, a day that was meant to be filled with laughter, joy, and the celebration of another year together. My husband, Alex Tudor, had been my rock, the man I thought I knew better than anyone else. For years, we'd built a life, a future, around promises and shared dreams. But as the evening drew near, something inside me felt off. It was subtle at first, a lingering unease, a quiet suspicion that I couldn't shake. The night was unfolding like any other birthday celebration, guests mingling, the room filled with a hum of conversation, and Alex Tudor, ever the charming host, beaming in the center of it all. But beneath the festivities, there was a storm brewing. I had found something in email, a message that changed everything. A small clue, an undeniable truth, hidden in plain sight. He thought I wouldn't find out. He thought he could keep his secret hidden. But the lie was no longer something I could ignore. Tonight, I wasn't just his wife celebrating another year of his life. Tonight, I was the woman who knew the truth. And I was going to confront him in front of everyone. It was a random moment, a passing glance, that set everything in motion. I was scrolling through my phone, looking for a text from Alex Tudor about his arrival time. Instead, I found an unopened message, one that shouldn't have been there. The sender's name was unfamiliar, but the words within were clear, cutting through the air like a knife. I can't wait to see you again. I miss the way you make me feel. Don't forget our little secret. My heart stopped. I thought it was some kind of mistake, a spam message, anything but what it seemed. But then my hand began to tremble as I opened the thread. It wasn't a one-time message. It was an ongoing conversation, one that stretched back for months. The words were filled with affection, flirtation, and the kind of intimacy that was supposed to belong to us, not someone else. For a moment, I couldn't breathe. The weight of it all threatened to crush me. The laughter in the other room felt distant, like I was hearing it from a world far away. Alex Tudor had always been the loving, doting husband. How could this be real? How could a man who kissed me goodnight just hours ago, who whispered sweet promises in my ear, be capable of such betrayal? I fought the urge to confront him immediately. Instead, I sat frozen, trying to make sense of it all. Denial and disbelief wrestled with the growing certainty that this wasn't just a misunderstanding. There was a woman, a secret, and my world was about to shatter. I needed answers, and I would get them tonight. The air felt thick with anticipation, and my pulse quickened as I stared at the phone in my hands. Every word, every sentence from that conversation replayed in my mind like a haunting melody I couldn't escape. My thoughts raced, each one darker than the last. Part of me wanted to storm into the living room, rip the truth out of Alex Tudor right then and there, but I couldn't. It wasn't just about the affair. It was about power, control, and reclaiming my dignity. I would make him face the consequences of his lies, and I would do it on my terms. I thought about the party. It was supposed to be his night, a celebration, a gathering of friends and family who adored him. And yet, here I was, planning to tear apart the life we'd built in front of everyone. A part of me wondered if it was cruel, but then I remembered the cruelest thing of all, the lies he'd woven for months, the betrayal wrapped in false smiles and whispered promises. I'd been made a fool, but I was done playing the fool. The clock ticked away, and I took deep breaths, steadying myself. He wouldn't expect it. He thought I didn't know. But tonight, I was no longer the trusting wife in the dark. I was a woman who held the truth in her hands, ready to shatter the illusion. The plan was simple. Expose the affair. Expose him. And let everyone see who he truly was. The room buzzed with laughter, the clinking of glasses, and the soft hum of upbeat music. Alex Tudor stood at the center, the spotlight firmly on him, and for a moment, I almost forgot. Almost. He was charming, as always. The life of the party, his easy smile and warm laugh drawing people in like moths to a flame. Guests crowded around him, offering birthday wishes, and I could see the pride in his eyes. It was all so normal, so perfect. But beneath the surface, I could feel the weight of the secret bearing down on me. He had no idea what was coming. No idea that the woman who had loved him, trusted him, was silently falling apart inside, all while pretending to join in the celebration. It was as though the world had become a distorted reflection. The party seemed so distant, like I was watching it through a foggy glass. I moved around the room, greeting friends, making small talk, but my mind was elsewhere. Every time I caught Alex Tudor's eye, his smile seemed a little too wide, his laughter a little too loud. I felt the dissonance between the man he was to the world and the man he had been to me. The more I watched him, the angrier I became. How could he stand there, basking in this charade, when he was busy breaking my heart behind the scenes? I stayed quiet, focusing on my plan. I had to wait. The time would come. His moment of reckoning was drawing nearer with every passing second, and in the pit of my stomach, I knew I'd make sure it would be unforgettable. The party was in full swing, but for me, time seemed to slow. My hands were ice cold, despite the warmth of the room. I could feel the anger rising in my chest, a tidal wave threatening to break free. Alex Tudor, oblivious to the storm brewing inside me, was caught up in his birthday buzz. He was laughing, making jokes, receiving praise. The guests surrounded him, unaware of the truth that had already unraveled in the quiet corners of my mind. I couldn't take it any longer. The lies, the deceit had all weighed so heavily on me that I felt like I was suffocating. I needed him to see what he had done, not in private, not behind closed doors, where he could manipulate the truth, twist his way out of it. No, this had to be public. Let everyone see the man I had married for who he truly was. I walked into the living room, my eyes scanning the crowd. Alex Tudor was standing near the fireplace, a glass of wine in hand, talking to a group of friends. His smile faltered when he caught sight of me, but only for a moment. I could see the flicker of concern in his eyes. He knew something was off, but he had no idea what was coming. I stood silently for a moment, gathering my thoughts. The room seemed to quiet just a little as I stepped forward, all eyes now shifting toward me. My heart pounded in my chest, but there was a strange calm in my mind. I had the truth now, and that truth was going to unravel everything. Everyone, I said, my voice steady but carrying to the room, I have something to share. The room fell silent, the energy in the air shifting, as if the guests could sense the tension. Alex Tudor's smile faded. He took a step toward me, his hand reaching out, but I held up my hand to stop him. Don't. Just listen. I pulled out my phone, the very device that had shattered my world hours earlier. I tapped on the screen and held it up, the evidence's affair on full display. Messages, photos, all of it. Alex Tudor, meet Sophie. I said, using her name as though it were a curse. She's the woman you've been seeing behind my back for the last 6 months. The woman you've been texting while you've kissed me goodnight. The woman you've lied about over and over, as if I was too blind to notice. The room was dead quiet now. I could feel Alex Tudor's gaze burning into me, his face shifting from shock to anger. He opened his mouth, but no words came out. He stepped back, almost as if he needed space to process what was happening. I turned to a group of friends who had been standing by, watching the scene unfold. This is the man you've been celebrating tonight. This is the man you've been praising as the perfect husband. He's been betraying me, all while standing here in front of you. Alex Tudor finally found his voice, though it was laced with panic. No, this isn't what you think. It's not. Save it. I interrupted, my voice sharp. I don't need your lies anymore. You've been playing this game for far too long, Alex Tudor. But the truth is out now. Everyone knows. He opened his mouth again, his face reddening, but there was nothing he could say. The guilt was written all over him. The room's atmosphere had completely shifted. What was once a celebration now felt like a funeral. I want a divorce, I said, the words finally tumbling out, as if they'd been waiting to escape for far too long. And I want you to look me in the eyes and know that you've lost everything. This was your choice. The silence that followed was deafening. Guests exchanged uneasy glances, unsure of how to respond. Some looked sympathetic, others shocked, but none could deny what had just happened. Alex Tudor stood there, his face a mix of anger, embarrassment, and shame. He tried to speak, but no words came. The lies had crumbled, and with them, the man I thought I knew. I'm done, Alex Tudor. I said, my voice finally breaking with the weight of everything I'd held in for so long. You don't get to destroy me. Not anymore. I turned and walked out of the room, the weight of the truth lifting off my shoulders, leaving Alex Tudor standing in the wreckage of his own deceit. The aftermath was a whirlwind of emotions, shock, anger, and a deep sense of loss. Alex Tudor tried to call, to apologize, but I ignored his desperate messages. His pride was shattered, but so was mine. The guests who had once celebrated him now looked at him with pity, while I felt an odd sense of freedom. Friends reached out, some offering support, others uncertain of how to help. The house felt empty, quieter than it ever had before. The truth had come crashing down, and while the pain was still raw, I knew it was the beginning of my healing. In the weeks that followed, I found peace in the quiet moments, away from the chaos of betrayal. The divorce was finalized swiftly, and though it was painful, it was necessary. I spent time rebuilding, reconnecting with old friends, rediscovering passions I'd put aside, and slowly finding myself again. Alex Tudor's calls eventually stopped, his presence fading from my life like a distant memory. I had walked the fire of heartache and emerged stronger, no longer defined by his lies. The future, though uncertain, felt full of possibilities. And for the first time in a long time, I was free.